Good evening and welcome to the Star Chamber Show live podcast. It is a great Wednesday evening here in Lexington, Kentucky, where I, Stephen Zimmer, am broadcasting to you live. And we got another great show for you tonight in a run of great shows lately on Podbean. We love the new platform. And, we've been on it for a little while now. Yeah, we've got quite a few episodes on Podbean now. Loving it. And of course, the day after the live show airs, you can get it on all your favorite platforms, such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, iTunes, YouTube, and several others. So it is definitely a great place to be. And we'd like to thank all of our new listeners. We've definitely seen listeners on all these different platforms. And of course, the live show. And we appreciate those of you that do turn into the live show. We hope that you use the app to access the chat room so that you can interact with us and leave some comments and questions and all that kind of good stuff for us. It's been a very busy day here on my end. Unfortunately, we had a dear member of Holly's family that passed away just a few days ago. So Holly and I had to attend a funeral today. So yeah, we're glad to have that over and be back. Yeah, definitely a little bit of a heavy day on our end. But yes, I was thinking Holly might be joining us a little late, but she is on as we speak. Holly, we got you.
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. There you are, Holly.
I'm here.
But yeah, it was definitely one of those days. But we are gonna definitely take it on a positive uptick here
Yes.
with everyone and have a great show tonight and bring you some Imaginarium updates because, of course, we are affiliated with the Imaginarium Convention. Star Chamber Show is part of our mission to support creatives, and we do so on a weekly basis, most often on Wednesdays, as most of you know. Occasionally, we have to, due to scheduling, sometimes there's a Thursday here and there or a special show, but most often we are on Wednesday evenings. And so, without further ado, here we go in episode number 435. And first of all, we will go ahead and give you the updates on Imaginarium of the past week. And yeah, there's been some big ones. Of course, the big announcement was the 2025 Imagine Award nominations are open now. So you definitely want to check that out. We got links on the site. It's a menu choice. We've also got an announcement on the homepage, and you can link right to the nomination form. You have to be an author, a publisher, or editor, representative, a PA. Agent, manager to do a nomination, and we got a full array of categories in fiction, nonfiction, and of course, we also recognize all types of writing, including screenwriting, comics, song lyrics, and game development, and all kinds of stuff. The screenwriting portion of the Imagines is also considered a film festival award. So yeah, those screenplays are submitted through Film Freeway or the International Screenwriters Association, but the form can be used for everything else from the comics, graphic novels, song lyrics, game development with modules and rule books and all that kind of good stuff. And of course, we got a full array of fiction categories and nonfiction too. So lots of stuff there for you. It's for books published in 2024, projects published in 2024. So anything from December, or I should say January 1st of 2024 up through December 31st of the end of the year is eligible. And of course, nominations will run until early February to accommodate those folks that have publications in running in the next couple of months. So we got that going for you all. And then we'd also like to spotlight and thank a new patron, and that was Lee Pennington, who is also a part of our 2025 inductee class for our Imagination Hall of Fame. Really thankful to him because these help us a lot, and they really do make a difference. And but he became a individual patron. And if you want to become one, there is a link on the site. They're only $75 to do this, and you do get recognition on the site and also at the event at our awards banquet and opening ceremonies. So yes, there are recognitions, and you can use a personal logo or a business logo if you would like for the site listing. So, yeah, check those out and check all of our sponsorships out because we have some very affordable sponsorships, and they do make a difference in our ability to bring in some major guests, and we're working on some real good ones right now, and I hope to have confirmation on one or two of them very shortly, and you're going to be very excited about those if they do indeed finalize. So I'm feeling somewhat optimistic. So yeah, I wanted to give you a little teaser on that. Then we also had some new guests come aboard. We have one new spotlighted guest and two new panelists. The panelists are author, editor, podcaster, publisher, and actor Tim Bischoff and author cosplayer Rebecca Johnson. And both have been at Imaginarium before, so many of you may know them already. But if you haven't, you definitely want to meet them. They're both great individuals, very talented, and they will be participating in our programming. And then we also announced USA Today bestselling author and multi-award-winning author Hallie Bridgman as a spotlighted guest. Yeah, she's done just wonderfully. She has total sales of about 1 million units of her books at this point as an independent author. She's also a Carol Award-winning author and has won numerous awards in recognition. She writes action-packed romantic suspense books and series, and just a wonderful person. We love Hallie, and also her husband Greg, who has also been a panelist with us in the past, and hopefully this year as well. But Hallie is just amazing. Yeah, definitely somebody that knows the business very well. Extremely successful, very well, recognized by her peers, and just a delight to deal with personally. She's just wonderful and a great part of our programming. So that's all the Imaginarium updates I have for you. I can say that, yeah, we will be opening up the ad reservations for the digital and print programs in the next day or so, and a couple other things. Hopefully very shortly, we'll have the awards banquet dinner tickets on sale.
Yes,
But that's
I'm noodling through that. So yeah, probably within, I'd say, end of next week, maybe.
yeah,
Or the beginning of next,
something
the
like that.
following.
Great.
Yeah.
But do you have anything that you would like to update? I know you've been, you've
Um,
had your hands full lately, but
yeah, I've had my
anything?
hands full. Unfortunately, no. I'm hoping to get back to a regular work schedule eventually. It has been a plethora of things here lately, but yeah, we will onward and upward, right? That's what we do.
Right. That's right.
That's
And
what we do.
I have to do a shameless plug for myself though, because it's been a while since I have done
Yes.
a solo event, and I've done some. I did the Lagrange Book Fair and some things like that. But yes, I've got some solo events coming up. So if you're in the area, please do come out and support it because yeah, my heart is really in it. Yeah, definitely when I do these events, and it means a lot to me when people come out to them. And I'm doing one in Georgetown, Kentucky at Fabled Forest Books, owned by Bobby Craig. Great place. That's this Saturday. This Saturday from noon until 6 p.m. And I will be accompanied by two of the young ones. It looks like
Yes.
Addison and Branson will be going with me, so you actually can meet them. And so come on out. Yeah, come on out. I will have the brand new novella Embrace of the Sun. I'll have copies of that. They are in. They did arrive. And I will have Days of Darkness copies as well, along with everything else for you to browse and buy holiday gifts for your friends and load up on novellas and novels. And yes, I will have quite a selection. And of course, Fabled Forest is awesome. I mean, great indie store in downtown Georgetown, Kentucky, right outside of Lexington. Real easy to get to from Lexington. So if you are in Central Kentucky, yeah, please do come out, see me, and we get to hang out and visit and all kinds of stuff, and hopefully he'll take a look at a few of these new books I've got. But yeah, it's good to be getting out there again, and it's the first of 4 straight Saturday events that I have. I got another bookstore event the following week at From the Ground Up Books, and then I'll be doing Books and Bourbon at Kroger Wine and Spirits in Lexington and
Yes.
Boston Road, and then the fourth event is the Bullitt County Authors Fair, which I'm really looking forward to, and asked to do a panel with Lynn Tincher. She's awesome, and Lynn and I are going to be doing discussion on the indie publishing world, kind of an overview for basic overview of indie publishing for newer authors. I think is the gist of it. But I'm really looking forward to that, and again, 4 straight Saturdays. So here we go. Yeah, finally
And
getting
I
the
will try to
uh,
be at least at, the other three, unless something else happens. But this weekend, I do have to take the young ones, my littlest granddaughters, trick or treating. Because that's the tradition, and I always take. And they're having it at a park up there Saturday, so that way I will be home for Miss Addison's birthday on Monday, that we will be
oh yes,
celebrating here. And then I will be home for Halloween. So me and Steven can dress up and have fun and hand out candy
hand out
and
candy to
spend it
neighbors.
together
Right.
finally, because usually I'm trick or treating on Halloween, but
Yeah, going
this year I will be able to get it done
cross
early.
purposes. Yeah,
Yeah, so I can't be everywhere at once. I try, but alas, here we are.
yeah. Here we are, but yeah, it's gonna be great. And yeah, if you want to give young Addison a early birthday present, just follow her TikTok channel. It's at Addie
Yes,
Slam, ADDI_SLAM, Addie Slam on TikTok. It's a wrestling channel that covers AEW and
she
WWE,
edits.
and
Mhm.
she edits videos, posts daily, and she's really loving it. And it's fun to watch her have so much fun being a content creator at the young age of 12. So yeah, give her a follow, and that'll serve as a great birthday present for young Addison. And yeah, she's actually watching AEW as we speak, so she's loving it. She's loving it. So yes, it's a definitely a fun time. But yeah, lots of stuff, events, Imaginarium stuff, lots of activity, and life happens things. Yeah, it's never a dull moment here with us. But we're going to get on now to sharing with you the two folks that brought you tonight's show. Of course, the steadfast, stalwart, amazing Sandy Lender, the genre blender, who I had the good fortune to actually say hi to on the phone a couple hours ago, and got to talk for a bit, and got some good Duran Duran album recommendations for the later period of Duran Duran, which I don't know a lot about. I'm very familiar with the '80s period, but it was fun to get Sandy's insights on what I should maybe try out in that period beyond the golden age of the '80s. So looking forward to that. Thank you, Sandy, and then the other folks that brought you tonight's show, or other folk, I guess as it were, is the amazing Ren Garcia with the League of Elder series. So first, we're going to give you a little bit from Sandy and the amazing Silver Bells novel, which is you should pick up now. It's a great read for Halloween, and it's also a great read for Christmas. So it covers the whole holiday season. Yeah, you want to pick this one up, and then we'll get over to Ren. But here is Sandy.
What happens if you schedule a Krampus movie on the Hallmark Channel? You get Silver Bells from Sandy Lender. The reviews are coming in for this new holiday horror, and readers are loving the mature female lead and the spooky Christmas setting. BestThrillers.com gave Silver Bells a highly recommended rating, saying, through striking visuals, Reindeer Creek reads like a mashup of Washington Irving's haunted forests in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the greed-induced decay of Pottersville in It's a Wonderful Life, and the glitzy electric spectacle of The Great Christmas Light Fight. Grab your copy of Silver Bells by Sandy Lender today.
Thank you, Sandy. You are awesome as always, and yeah, definitely pick up Silver Bells. I have read it. Proudly gave it a blurb myself, endorsement. Yeah, it is an amazing book. And here is a little bit from Ren Garcia with that immortal question that he asks at the end. Here we go.
The League of Elder dares to be unusual. It's easy to be swept away in this bold and uninhibited landscape where fantastic heroes become old friends and sinister villains inhabit every dark corner. Dare to explore things best left alone. Each book is your lantern, lighting the path to a world never before seen. So what do you say? Are you weird enough for us?
Yes,
Indeed,
Ren.
we are.
We are, Ren, and we're not going to stop bugging you to come next summer to visit us in
Nope.
Louisville. We're
Nope.
going to and so thank you, Ren. Thank you, and thank you, Sandy, of course. And yes, chat room looks like it's starting to get a little active. And yeah, I'm seeing Molly Daniels, Carol Preflatish is in there. Looks like Sandy Lender's in there. Tonight's guest is in there, and yes, and that's why I'm going to get on to the introduction of tonight's guest. And yeah, we've had some big authors that have come on recently with some million sellers and some authors that won some big awards. And so tonight we are going to explore an author that has just begun his writing and publishing journey. That's right. He has been to the last two Imaginariums, and I have had the good fortune of working with him. And he's an extremely talented fellow from the great Northwest, up in there in Washington State. And he has a debut novel out that is a YA science fiction novel entitled Kuro-Sil, the Book of Humans, Reptuuls, and God. And tonight we're going to get into all of that with the one, the only, and it's my honor and privilege to bring on to the Star Chamber show for the very first time, Michael Small. Hello,
Hello,
Michael.
hello.
Yay.
Hey, can you hear
There he
me?
is. Very
Yes,
well, loud and
loud
clear.
and clear.
You
That's good.
sound
This is the first time
fantastic.
I've never heard of this app before, so I'm glad I
Yes.
got this working out.
Well, now you have, and it's working, and yes, and we
Yeah,
love this platform, and we love having you on it,
Yes,
yeah,
it's
and
very
of course
clear.
you have to
yeah.
put
I
up
also
with
gave you a
me.
little coffee and for the
Yeah,
little
thank
chat
you,
too.
thank you.
Yes, thank
We
you.
need our
Thank you.
caffeine. We need it badly some of these days, and
Yeah,
of course I have the you have to put up with me quite a bit, but tonight you actually get to talk to Holly, and so that's gonna be a lot of fun, and
Yes,
yeah.
we get to
Can't
explore
wait.
your book and everything else, the adventure, the journey, and yeah, because you just got done doing a little blog tour and had some guest posts and reviews that were posted up, and then tonight's kind of like a grand finale with you being on the show here. We're really excited that, of course, with that. But yeah, it's good to see you. Yeah, word is starting to get out with you. But first of all, yeah, the book, a standalone novel, YA science fiction novel, Kuro-Sil, the Book of Humans, Reptuuls, and God. Do you want to give us a little introduction in your words about this book and what the story is about?
Sure. So Kuro-Sil is this sci-fi story of mine that is set in the distant future, like 3,000 years into the future, or where humanity is at the mercy of this reptilian race called the Reptuuls. Well, and it follows this one boy named Oren who believes that there are good in them and that he has always wanted to meet one of them, and so part of the story has he's become a slave to one of the Reptuuls, but he forgive me, I'm a little tongue twisted right now.
Oh,
This
it's okay.
kind of
No,
you're
just
fine. Just take your time, honey.
just
You're
me,
fine.
just me and Holly.
Yeah, thank
Yep,
you.
yep.
Yeah. So again, in the story, Oren has become a slave of the Reptuuls, but he's been bought by two very noble members of their species, and the story is about their adventures to help end the wars between humans and the aliens, and to and to yeah, and to free and sorry and to free them from
It's
from
fine.
reptilian oppression. So
Mhm.
this book in particular is actually like just a little standalone in part of that story. It's just what this story in particular is about is like a day in the life of these characters, because at some point they've become part of this one underground rebellion called Kolos, and so they go on various missions to help like free humans, and so to cause mayhem among the reptilian empire called the Valkyroon. So it's just
Mhm.
a little day in the life of our protagonists and our villains. So
Yep. It does give you a really good picture of the book. I think it gives you a really good picture of all sides of the story, and of course you got great protagonists, and then you have a great antagonist in this as well. And we'll let you talk about that in a minute. But yeah, your key characters like Oren and of course I personally love Korba, and he's like I said, like you said, the Reptuuls have an empire that they're definitely a very dominant empire, and they have a number of alien races in among those they have enslaved, and one of those are humans. And so yes, Oren is under Korba's household at the moment in the story, but there's a different relationship with them because he's not. he's not exactly fond of the whole slavery thing, and they have it's almost like a paternal relationship.
Yep,
And I
cool.
thought that was a neat choice of yours to kind of take it a little bit in that direction, where he's almost kind of being a little bit of a dissident. Corbat is.
Well, we have a comment from the chat room. Author Sandy Linder, she says, "Please tell Michael that the story sounds fantastic, and I'm totally intrigued."
Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
to hear that. Thank you. Yeah, and
But
also
yeah,
glad that Corba's your favorite. He was one of my personal favorites to write for.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I
Yeah,
hope
he's
that would become one of the fan favorites.
yeah, he definitely has a very roly poly personality, but he's also very tough and a lot of good character aspects. And the way that his interplay with Oren is something I find very compelling and very engaging in the story. And what I guess what inspired you to have this specific type of relationship with the having the older Reptul that is to the outside of his world. It looks like he has this human slave, but it's actually a boy that he's looking out for and he's taking care of, and he's really he really cares about him. What inspired you to have that kind of relationship in this particular story?
Well, I've always kind of liked I've always liked stories where humans where like a kid would befriend some kind of monster or something from like say like, the Iron Giant or like How to Train Your Dragon movies. I always had a particular soft for those, and I just kind of wanted to tell a story of this boy in this like a Star Wars type or Star Trek type sci-fi universe where I
yes.
yeah I've always felt like aliens were kind of a bit like underutilized in certain stories, or like some that are a lot more menacing or like not as appealing or intimidating looking, if you will, as protagonists. And I just kind of, I don't know, it's just like personally, I always wanted to have myself be in that kind of world where a kid would befriend these kind of monstrous people, because that's it, what I'm into. And I just want to, as a,
Yeah, definitely. And the common
Well, yeah,
thing
you write what you know, right? That's what we do. And
and the common things with reptilians and reptilian races and movies and TV and things like that. Usually they are villains, and usually they're the bad guys. They're the monsters. And in this one, I mean, yes, I mean they are very they're pretty much in apex species in this universe, where they are the very tough military, and they're conquerors. But I mean, you do show all the dynamics of individuals within their race, and and show a lot of nuance and a lot of different personalities and a lot of different. So it's almost like it's like you said, it's like taking that some of those tropes and kind of turning them upside down. I thought you
yeah,
did that really well with
yeah,
this book.
yeah, that's what I was aiming to set out to do. Just make this make this very fierce and intimidating race become very lovable, at the, but also
Yeah,
fierce and intimidating at the same time, but in a good way,
that's
and
the
also a bad way.
challenge.
Yeah, and
That
also
that that that's challenging. And so we did have a another question from the chat room, but you pretty much answered it. She said that Molly Daniels was asking, how did you come up with the premise or inspired the characters or storyline? But you did talk about that. She said that Stephen was definitely on the same wavelength, because you were literally answering the question as she asked it. But
yeah.
Sandy Linder wanted to know again what the title was and what publisher picked it up.
the title of the book is Kuro-Sil, the Book of Humans, Reptuuls, and God. It's a bit hard to spell. So Kuro-Sil, the title is spelled Kuro-Sil, and Reptuuls is spelled Reptuuls. So, and it's self-published. So you can find it on Amazon and also various other sites, like it's on Ingram Spark. I don't know if you can. I haven't really checked that out very much. Can you buy stuff from there? Also, it's on Barnes and Noble, Kobo, Apple. I've had it published through various other sites, so that it's not so it's not permanently tied up with Amazon forever. It would be nice to not have it sold entirely on Amazon, but
Right.
we're not there
Right.
yet.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Amazon's the big one in the room right now. But yeah, it's always good
Yeah.
to have multiple platforms that you're available on, and yeah, it's definitely like the cover. Yeah, it pops right out at you, and and before your brother had actually sketched
His
some really
brother-in-law
nice
actually, but
brother-in-law,
yeah,
brother-in-law. I always get it mixed in my head. Like yeah, I
that's
always
fine.
think. But your brother-in-law had sketched you some character sketches before, but then that evolved into you working with another cover artist for the cover, and I love the way that the sketches and there's a consistency with what ended up on the cover art, and then since you worked with yet another artist that did more character sketches that you turned into stickers that you had at the past Imaginarium, and they really do give you. I mean, after being in the thick of your book and knowing it as well as I do, I mean, they really do bring out the personalities of your characters. The artwork really shined in representing them, and so I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about the artwork and again with what your brother-in-law did, the cover artist you worked with, and then the other artist that did some of your character sketches, because you did a great job with that.
Yeah. So I first started initially when I was working on the development of this book. I worked with my brother-in-law, who is a pretty talented artist on his own right. He does not that's not his profession. Does uh, he does some other job, but he does art on his own time. So I think one of my parents told me if I wanted to have some characters drawn, I wanted to have characters for myself because I
Mm-hmm.
life for
Oh, sorry, you broke up a little bit there.
no artistic bones in my body. I don't know how to draw at all. It would be fun if I could learn, but
Right.
oh, sorry. So, yeah, I've always wanted
You're
to.
okay. Go ahead.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
The
So,
connection
I've
went
always
out.
wanted
The
to.
connection went out for a second, but you're fine now.
Good. I mean, no, not good. But all right. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. But anyway, I've always wanted to have my. I've always wanted to have character designs for my story if I ever do something like a TV show or a video game, but for even though it'll be there yet, hopefully it would be, but just wanted to have character designs for myself. But I have no artistic bones in my body. But my mom, I think she told me about my brother-in-law's art skills. So I asked him if he'd be interested in doing some stuff like the initial designs for each of my characters, as also some other characters. So we just kind of went from there, and it's very slow going with him because he's got his relationship with his wife, my sister, and also his job and other stuff. Very hard to get him to cooperate with me at times because it could be like weeks or months before we might see each other again. But yeah, we spent like several years, or like spent a good amount of time designing the initial sketches of my characters like Orin and Korba and Tyrion. Those are the main trio that I have for my story. And so when I was getting near to finishing my book, I decided to find someone else to do the cover. So Steven here, he told me about this artist that he has worked with before. Her name is Just Call Me Insane. That's her online handle. So
Yep.
I looked
She's
her
been
up
on the
and
podcast. She's been on the podcast. We've actually
cool.
had her as a
Yes.
guest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. I'll have to look at that episode. But yeah, I went to her and she was open to doing the design. So we spent like about 4 or 5 months trying to fine tune the cover. It was very interesting having someone else do the. She did a good job translating my brother-in-law's sketches and trying to come up with a good image for what I had in mind for.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Then
always helps.
yeah,
Finding someone that will listen, to your feedback, and then you still got to give them some creative reign, and so you meet in the middle, and then you see your creation come to life, and that's like a wow. It's how did you feel when you seen like the last sketch come back and you're like, oh, that's it? I mean, how did that make you feel?
it felt really cool. Honestly, seeing it done in such good colors and shading, like seeing it was a kind of rough shading for several months at a time. Was I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but all the colors when it fully came out just looked amazing. Just the greens and the dark shades of the clouds of the cover was really cool. And one thing I also liked was on the back cover, the shadowy figure who's supposed to be a major part of the last chapter of the book. Yeah, that's a nice little Easter egg. If anyone will get my book, will hopefully notice. Yeah, and then yeah. Then after Just Call Me Insane, I was going to ask her to do some character sketches, some like different sketches for stickers and bookmarks to go along for my second appearance at the Imaginarium as from 2020 to sell a book. But she said she didn't have time, so she told me about this other friend of hers named Caitlin, and so I asked her to help do some sketches, do for stickers and bookmarks.
Oh, cool.
And it worked. It worked really well. She was work. I do some more
Neat.
because just like the last week or so, I had my brother-in-law come in and do just some minor sketches for other characters that I would want to do, but I feel like I might want to have to work with this Caitlin again and to have some more like unified look for between all the characters and the art.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I thought the neat thing about seeing those characters that Caitlin did with just how there's consistency between those and the style of artwork that Just Call Me Insane did on your cover. I mean, there was a real consistency between them, so that when you made the bookmarks and the stickers and and then of course you had the banner with your cover art on it and things like that. I mean, it just all fit together. I mean, just really nice for your presentation, and came out just beautifully. So that was that was neat that on your first project you ended up working with two pro artists actually. Yeah, you had the one for the cover, and then you had one that helped you develop some swag, as I guess the best term is. And that was neat. And yeah, the stylistically just really, I think they knocked it out of the park. But yeah, because you're right. Yeah, it's really beautiful. But even beyond, yeah, seeing the cover for the first time, I want to get you to talk about your reaction, because it's something I talked to you about months and months and months and months ago, even a year ago. Was that there's a moment coming, Michael, when you're going to hold your book for the very first time, a print copy, published, done, finished, in your hands. And that's a special moment for any writer out there. I mean, because that's a once in a lifetime moment. And I said that's gonna be a very special one. I wanted you to talk about the how did it arrive? What did you do? What did you feel like when you finally got a copy of your book in your hands for the very first time? Describe that, because I know it's different for every author.
Yeah, it was just a very surreal, kind of otherworldly thing. Like I never, but have, and I just have been working on but I have been working on other writing projects, and most of them just stay as Microsoft Word documents. And so,
Right.
I've worked on almost 10 years now, like probably 10 years now, in various forms, and finally having a complete product that I had in my hand was just really unreal. Seeing those words on page was really cool. It was just unbelievable. So yeah, I just basically shared it with my family. They were all around, and I showed them that I had my book. It was all published, and I had it in physical, and it was just a really cool thing. I also read it. Yeah. Also,
Yeah, okay,
sorry.
go ahead. Sorry
Yeah.
for interrupting you.
Well, that's fine. A neat thing was that the fun I did was also read it to my parents, because that was something I wanted to do, just share it with them after working on it for so long and just never thought it would actually go anywhere. Having a fully completed project just was a very nice feeling.
Yeah, we knew you'd get there, and I knew that moment was going to be special, and I could not wait to hear from you when that happened, because that was something I was looking forward to for a long time. And my just that long time is nothing compared to you developing this storyline in this world for 10 years. And that's what a lot of people, I think, sometimes don't realize, that you might have a debut author, and it may seem like, oh, they got their first book out, but they don't understand. Sometimes they don't understand that behind that is, maybe, like in your case, a decade of work and a decade of developing the story and the concept and the world and the the research and the characters and sometimes it's many years in the making, and that's definitely the case with your book, and so yeah, this was a culmination of a fairly long journey. So yeah, congrats on that. Not an easy thing to do sometimes.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't have done it without you. I yeah, yeah, I'm the best editor to help
I
me with it.
well, I just kept prodding you, saying, "Yes, we're going to get to that finish line. Just trust me, we're gonna get there."
Yeah.
Looks like Dan. Oh, we got wonderful podcast hosts that have entered the chat room. Vamp Chat with Dan and Eva, and the great podcast here on Podbean. They're listening in tonight. I got to give them a quick shout out. But yeah, but you've held that in you held that book in your hands, and then since then, yeah, you've started to hit the ground running, and you've gotten some of your first reviews and gotten some really good quotes off some of these reviews, and that was really good to see. And then you did some great guest posts on a couple of sites. So how are you feeling after starting to? Because I know it's a little nerve wracking when you're putting your baby out there to get reviewed and judged. But how are you feeling so far on
I
things?
I think I'm feeling really good about it. Like from what little few reviews I've gotten, it's been pretty positive. So that makes me feel good because the reason it's taken so long for me being a debut author is just because of the self consciousness and the self doubt that I never thought I'd be good enough. So having people actually positively look at it positively is just nice feeling.
Yeah,
I
and
think
not just
I think
positively, Holly.
every
Holly, I'm
what
going to give you before you ask him this question. I'm going to give you just from Book Addict Twiley in her review of this. Here's a few of the quotes. I found the whole concept of this book fascinating. Oren was a great character. It's a brilliant debut from the author. I mean, he just got several blurbs just in that review alone. So, but yeah,
that's
that's one
cool.
to tell you that before you what. Go ahead and ask him your question. But yeah,
Well, I was going to say, I think every author, even even those that's written many, many, many books. Stephen could attest to this. You always have that self-doubt that it's not good enough, and there's points where you think I need to go back and fix this. I need to change this. I need And there's a point where you have to stop yourself and say no. That's where you need this editor that's like,
yeah,
it's perfect as it is. We have reached the point. We have, to
yep,
reel you in. Otherwise you spiral into this self-doubt, and then you'll never get your
oh
book
yeah,
published. And so yeah,
yep.
it never stops. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you it never stops. It
Yeah, I know that
Every
feeling.
book, you have that feeling, but you learn to to reel yourself in and say it's good, it's good.
It's
I'm
ready.
going to put it out now. It's
I told
ready.
Michael, I'm just sharing with you my work with him. I told him that was probably one of the hardest battles for him, was because he really is so. I mean, his heart and soul is in the story. I mean, let me tell you, he really pours himself into this, and yes, and he is constantly thinking of ways to refine it and stuff. And so for him, I think that actually was probably the hardest battle, was just getting to that point where he could say, okay, ready, okay, I can let this fly now. And even then, there's a little refinement that we ended up doing, but that is a hard battle, and it's
It
a
is.
lot of
It is.
authors. And for Michael, that was I think probably I would say, in my view, just watching him, that was probably one of his toughest battles, was just getting
Yeah, like the chat is saying,
let it go.
imposter syndrome is
Yeah,
definitely a real thing, and it affects, all creatives, and
yeah.
it's hard to get through, but once you persevere, and you get your baby out there, for the world. And that's another thing, you're bearing your soul. This is something that's
Mm,
very close to you, and it's you got to learn to take the good reviews with the bad reviews. There's
mhm.
always, you can't please everyone. And you
True.
just
Yeah.
got to come to that acknowledgement, and you got to learn to just take it as constructive criticism and move on. You
Yeah.
know, you're definitely not going to, you know, like I said, please everyone. Everyone's not going to love it. You just got to come to that realization and take it and go. So don't let it get you down. You do get, you know, one of those low reviews. Don't let it get you down, Michael, because just move on, you know, and look at all
Mhm.
the good reviews,
Yeah.
and
And I
just
told
move
him
along.
it's
Yeah,
the fine art of finding his audience, not worrying about
that's
pleasing
right.
every reader, but finding his readers. And that's the thing that we're, that he's, kind of focused on going forward. And I'm trying to help him in that direction. But yeah, it's definitely a process. But yeah, now he's starting to get some blurbs and some reviews that he can work with. He's got an online interview that's on a blog form. He's got some guest posts that he can point to. So yeah, you're starting to get the platform. Starting to get the platform, and that's yeah, as you know, in the early phase, you can see that's a whole nother job for an author, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yep, definitely. As someone who's been online trying to do various things on YouTube over the last 10 years, it's definitely hard finding that audience and also trying to maintain your own interest, because I probably could have kept going on with whatever else I was doing in the past, but I just kind of get bored. So hopefully I can keep going on and maintaining this if I ever get a true audience.
Yes, and
you'll
and
get
and
there.
there's a mountain behind this, because this is a standalone novel, but you've got a series concept, and that's what you're getting into with your next project, is starting to write that. Give people an idea on the scope of the series concept that you have coming up after this.
So yeah, excuse me. Um, so the main series concept is just the overall journey of these three people of Kuro-Sil, the journey of the human named Orin and the two Reptuuls named Korba and Tyrion. It'll be I have this big journey of how Orin meets them, how he got whisked away to their planet, and how he discovers his own powers and like the destiny that lies before him, and how he meets a whole slew of other friends and enemies, and just basically basic hero journey stuff. So
Mhm.
so yeah, it's just going to be a full adventure of how Orin, the two Reptuuls, Korba and Tyrion, and their journeys to eventually end the war between the two, and hopefully soon before his very deadly supernatural powers threaten to destroy life as they know it. So, what I have in mind is planning a 6-part series,
Mhm.
and I don't know how much I can go into it because I'm not very good at describing myself. But yeah, I
That's all right.
would like to. Yeah,
You don't want to give away too many spoilers. Yeah,
true.
Yep,
yeah, but
Yeah,
yep. You never want to give away too many. You
good
want
to
to
know
keep
that.
people,
Yeah, but
interest peaked, and let them run with it.
yeah.
but
Funny
a
thing.
six series, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, yeah. The funny thing was, I never initially planned on doing this one standalone book, the Book of Humans, Reptules, and God. I
Mhm.
initially wanted to do the first part of my story, but I started writing that in 2019. But I just could never figure out, it was all the imposter syndrome that we were talking about.
Right.
And so I decided, as I was like stuck trying to figure that thing out and just could not figure it out for the life of me, I decided to go a different route, because in my first book, it took me way too long to get my main trio together. So I just wanted to have a story written where they all knew each other already, and so we're already close with each other, and so just give audiences a taste of what their personalities and their relationships would be like, and what kind of action, humor you can expect to go on with it. So that's what.
Yeah, and I could tell you love the world building. I mean, you really do. You've really thought this out. The construction of your world, and I think that's something that you had a lot of fun with in this book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, coming up with the type of culture for the Reptuuls was definitely fun. I just
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, they are something. They are very interesting because it's like yeah, very tough, but yet there's a lot of nuance with different characters, and you do show that. Now you do have some pretty good villains among the Reptuuls, and you got one particular big baddie in this one. Go ahead and give people a little preview, without giving away too much, but give people a little preview of the antagonist in this one because I
Oh,
thought you
fun.
did a good job there.
Yeah. So my antagonist is named Kroll. He's this big black menacing reptile that's he's just biggest toughest like warrior that their species known. He's the leader of this. He's a big warrior who's part of their military and like he's like super strong, super powerful, and has his own special elite force that he commands called the Garathal. They're this elite force of fighters that go in special operations their empire instructs them to do. He's like super ruthless, super murderous. He's also very like, cocky and very cocky, charismatic in a way, at least to his species. Like he likes to boast and have a sense of humor of himself. He's got like he's got these seven. He's got seven and companions along with him, his other members.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
he's like
yeah,
yeah.
and there's a supernatural element with these. I mean, it is a science fiction story, but you do on with both Orin and him. I mean, you have supernatural aspects that come into it, and I don't know how like I said, without giving too much away, but you want to give us a little taste of the supernatural, the things that that they draw off of in some of their scenes and actions.
All right. So in my world, there's this thing known as the Velos. There's this supernatural power, like these ancient spirits that are around us all along. In my like analogous, like they have these spirits along them that are analogous to like angels and demons from Christianity, and that in fact they're a lot like them, and the Reptuuls can bond with them to give them supernatural powers and strength. And Kroll has this
Hmm.
like supernatural power that lets him control the evil spirits known as the Velos, and he makes it almost invincible. But Orin has this heavenly power, this holy power that lets him like withstand and Kroll's. And so that's one of the things that Kroll is after. He wants like this. He wants ultimate power and nothing to get in his way, so that he can win the war and have Reptuuls dominate the universe.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
author Sandy Linder is asking from the chat room, are any of your rep tools inspired by people or bullies from your past? And how did you craft your baddies? So, are they inspired from like real people that have, been bullies in the past, or characters that you've read about, or how did you get inspired to write your your bad people?
Well, they are not inspired by any people that I've ever known. Not really ever had any bullies. Really, I just it was interesting, kind of coming up with their characters. I based them initially off of other pre-existing material, and I kind of built my own world off of them, and just kind of built them off, like just kind of
Yeah.
crafted some kind of like personalities for them that I thought would just go well with like what I thought would be entertaining. I didn't. There's not a whole. I didn't really like research into certain people. I just had like personalities and archetypes I thought would work well for the characters, if that makes
Cool.
sense.
Hmm.
That makes
Absolutely.
perfect sense. So what books do you, I mean, what are you reading like right now, or watching? What are like some of your favorite shows, or favorite books to read?
Yeah, and he's a gamer too. Yeah, so games too. You
Oh,
can
Yeah.
talk
well,
about.
or games
And
Yeah.
you're playing.
yeah, I'm more of a video gamer, honestly. In fact, I wanted to be
Okay.
a video game programmer at first, and so, but I could not. I have very little know-how on like computer programming, and I don't even know how to really build my own PC. I have to
Mhm.
have other people to do it. So, but I figured when I wanted, like, I figured writing would be the best bout. So, if so, I have plenty of stuff. Like, I'm not very much of a reader, like, but I am reading. I'm decided to reread the Chronicles of Narnia after having not read it for almost 20 years. I just wanted to
Nice,
read it again just for the
nice.
heck of it.
Oh, that's a
Nice.
gem.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always tell people if you're going to be a writer, you got to be a reader.
That too.
It goes hand in hand because you see what other people have done and how their nuances and what they write. And, you know,
You
so
learn. You
Yeah.
learn. Yeah,
my
every time.
I
advice
have
would
read some
be
other.
maybe pick up a,
Yeah.
Star Trek book or, something. Yeah, in that series.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
ever read in any of those?
Or
I've
yeah,
not read
yeah,
any of the.
yeah, or your roots. I mean, some of the writers that maybe inspired you. Yeah, that
Uh
you
huh.
could talk
Uh
about.
huh.
Yeah. Writers that have inspired me, I'd probably say it'd be a mixture of, say, like Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, obviously. Like I have some big inspires for that. J.K. Rowling from Harry Potter,
Uh huh.
right? Harry Potter is always just really fun for me. They're just some of the most simple and I can think of. And then
Right.
weirdly enough, Daniel Handler, aka Lemony Snicket, the guy who did a series of unfortunate
Yes.
events.
Yeah,
Yes. Love
yeah,
Lemony Snicket.
excellent stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I took inspiration from him because I have this narrator who's kind of my narrator is this enigmatic figure known as the chronicler, who's like somebody who has some deep connection to Orin, like years after his events happened, writing his story as if like it's actual history, and also has a bit of a like humorous streak to him, kind of like how Lemony Snicket wrote his character being a narrator who knows the events of the Baudelaire children,
Yes.
and also other aspects I took from Tolkien is that what I really admire from him that I didn't really notice until like watching various like YouTube lore videos on that how he wrote his story is almost like he wrote it as if some sort of like actual has actual history and that he just like merely translated it from like writings from like Bilbo and Frodo. So I kind of took that kind of approach, like it's some kind of history,
Mm-hmm.
like some forbidden history that's been kind of lost to time.
Mm-hmm.
So
That comes through. Yeah, yeah, it definitely comes through. I can vouch for that. Just
Most certainly. And
writing stuff.
Cindy Linder said she's looking into Stargate. She said um, Stargate, is really intriguing her. And Moon, D.L. Hearn from the chat said that Stargate could really parallel with your world that you've created, that the Gulag could compare. It
Mhm.
would be so maybe that's a recommendation for you,
Yeah,
Mike.
take a
yeah, I
Is
look at
have
it.
heard
maybe
of
listen to
Stargate.
Stargate. Uh huh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I might watch that. I've not been much of a TV watcher
Yeah,
much lately. Like I have
you
watched a
may
lot of
like
shows.
that.
Yeah, I kind of get a little like cold feet whenever shows are too long.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, me too.
It's kind
I know
Yeah,
the
which is kind
feeling.
of a bit hypocritical of me because I've become a big fan of manga, Japanese comics, and my
Hmm.
biggest
Yes,
and
my
my
daughter is. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and if there's
Manga's
also
cool.
yeah, and there's one I've also gotten some inspiration from One Piece, that manga series. That's my big favorite thing, and that's one of the longest series out there. So I don't know what's keeping me from watching long shows like Stargate, which I think has 10 seasons to it.
Yeah, it's got quite a
It's
few.
something like
Yeah,
that. It's a lot. Yeah, it
got a
went on
lot
a
of
Yeah,
while.
personality.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you,
Hmm.
another inspiration. I took some inspiration from a One Piece because they have in their world they have all these really cool powers that people can use, and so I have my characters. I want to create all sorts of weird, wild powers that my characters can come up with.
mhm. So it's
Yeah,
a yeah. So and I'm going to do a quick shout out to Moon because he just had a birthday. So happy birthday again, Moon. He just had
oh,
a
Happy
birthday.
happy
birthday,
birthday!
Moon.
but but yeah, that's that does come through also very very well in your books, and yeah, that it's a interesting balance I thought between when you say science fiction, you have hard science fiction, you have space opera, and then you have everything kind of a little bit in between. But you yeah, you tilt a little bit more toward space opera because you do have some of these fantastical elements and the powers and some supernatural elements and yeah, there's a lot of that, and I think that's cool in a space setting. That's a lot of fun, and because typically, you see a lot of that in, of course, medieval fantasy and things that are set in more ancient worlds. But it's fun to see a lot of those things set in a futuristic world, and I
Yeah,
think you've done. done that well, and yeah, it's definitely you've come up with something unique. I think as far as it has your voice. This story definitely has your voice, and what character and I had suspected this, but you have a special bond with Orin. This is one I think that you've infused a little bit of you into this one, as far as Orin. And I'd love to hear you comment a little bit about that because I think that character in particular is very personal to you.
Yeah. So if I want to say he was kind of like this overall story of Kuro-Sil was inspired after a fantasy of childhood imaginations and fantasies of mine where I would go on adventures with these aliens and monsters from movies or shows I'd like. So Orin.
Oh, the phone cut out
Mike,
there.
you there?
Yep, I'm here. Sorry,
Yeah,
you hear me?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Go for it.
as I was saying, so Kuro-Sil overall is inspired after like childhood fantasies and imaginations, fantasy worlds.
Oh no,
Am I out
there it
again?
is. There. Oh, it just clicked out for a second. Yeah,
Uh,
just clicked out for a second. You're
yeah.
good now.
Okay. All right. So again, it's inspired after childhood fantasies of mine. I hope I can do this right this time.
Oh
Where
yes, you're doing fine.
yeah, where I'd be in these worlds with like aliens and monsters, and so Orin was very much inspired after me being in those worlds, and more like what I would be like in those worlds, like because I've just always wanted to be in a story where these aliens or where I could befriend them and just get to know them and just have a very close friend, close bond with them,
Mm-hmm.
and just so yeah, I would say I have a connection with them, but I also have a very strong connection with Korba and Tyrion Korba, especially because he was like a childhood imaginary friend of mine that just have as like a little comforting for me, like just the adventures I'd go on with him. He was like just a very close personal friend of mine in my head. So that's so if
And
that
isn't it weird how life
makes sense,
imitates
that's what
art? Because I have to say
where I
that,
made them
yeah,
from.
because he thought of Korba, and then now he works with an editor who has a belly. He's a little rough around the edges at times in his style, and and can get surly at certain times, just like Korba. So
Yes.
life imitates art sometimes.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I did want to ask Michael, and I wanted you two to touch on this too, because you're his writing coach, and we don't talk about this a lot, but the importance of, when you're getting started, started out, and you're dipping your toes into this new water of the writing world, is actually getting a coach, someone that's standing by you and guiding you. And I kind of wanted to just talk about that relationship a little bit. Mike, how do you think that has helped you grow as a writer and to get your book out there? I mean, do you think, obviously it's sped things up, but how do you think this has helped you as far as like getting coached?
It's definitely helped me figure out where certain strengths are and where their faults are. Like at first, I was kind of afraid of looking at any of the criticism of my book because I just always felt like it would not be good enough, and I'd have to restart the entire thing from scratch to make it good by whatever my coach would say. But yeah, Stephen has been a very very supportive and uplifting figure in this whole process, and he's definitely helped me find like various weak points that could be fine tuned to make for a better thing, but also like give me good praise where it was deserved. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
honestly kind of self taught when it comes to writing. I just kind of figured it out as I went along, but he's helped me figure things out better than I definitely would have done on my own.
Yeah, well, he's done a great job, and to tell you,
So
he came as he came as a good writer, and I think the biggest thing was is getting him to believe in himself.
Yes,
As far as you want my candid view, and just making sure that that yeah, we when there is something to address, it's done constructively. That's why I say that you're very careful when
right.
you join writing groups. You don't want
Yes,
people to join
yes,
groups where people just want to tear you down. You want to be
yes.
constructive where it needs to be. But then at the other side of the coin is, yeah, you also need to point out the good stuff too. And I think there needs to be a balance in that. And I think that was important just to help him understand that he could get to the finish line. And that was the the one key goal that we had in the past year before the book came out was getting him to understand that, yeah, we are going to get there. You are going to hold that book in your hand. We're going to get there, and it's going to be a darn good book, and it's going to be polished and ready to rock and roll. And yeah, so we're at that stage, and now now it's exciting because he's getting ready to embark on a writing a new one. So uh, so that
Fantastic.
as we mentioned, the 6 book series that he's looking at doing is about to embark as he goes out and promotes this one. So yeah, it's been a real fun for me to watch him bloom, flower.
Yeah.
I guess as the years gone on. But again, it's definitely daunting for any indie author going into this with all the social media stuff and all the publishing stuff and all the
Yes.
media. 8 million things that get thrown at you. So I
As I
think
said, it's always great to have somebody in your corner, and that's like Mike. You find your tribe is what we always refer to. You
yeah,
find that group of people around you who are your cheerleaders, yet they will point out your mistakes or things that they think you can do better. They know you can do better. That's the fact. They know you can do better, and they call you out on it, and that's what you want. You don't want somebody that's just going to blow smoke, and
yeah,
and you
not
want
that either.
somebody
Yeah,
that's going to be truthful with you. Yeah, yeah.
right.
In a
Exactly.
constructive way, not in a mean, rude sense. In a
Yeah.
constructive way, um,
Mhm.
and knows where you're coming from.
Yep.
yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, I
And
definitely couldn't have found anyone better.
well,
That's
thank
right.
you. And but yeah, but see, what I'm really going for is one day he's gonna invite us up to visit him in that beautiful Pacific Northwest where we can see those beautiful trees and the ocean up there and watch porpoises and all kinds of fun stuff. That's
Yeah, I don't know where to find any porpoises, so you'll have to wait on that.
off the way on that. All right. Yeah, he's got every time I talk to him, sometimes I get some insights to how beautiful the area around him is, as far as
Oh,
the
shoot.
natural setting up there. So that's got to help as far as being a writer. So, but yeah, but as we come down to the end of the conversation here, I do want to, Holly, is there anything else that you think we should cover, or is there
I
anything?
think we've covered most things. We just need to
Yeah,
know where to find Mike and
and his books
where to buy his
and his
books
book.
again. Yes.
Hmm. So give us your social media that you want us to connect with you on, or websites, and tell us where they can find Kuro-Sil, the book of humans, reptules, and God. So yeah, just give us some hints as to where we can find you to connect with you.
So I'm at a lot of places. So I have a YouTube handle I have 2 YouTube channels actually. One that's that's my personal channel. That's Maester Mike is the name of the account that I'm using for signing onto this podcast right now. But there's also my Kuro-Sil channel that I hope to be more dedicated to my book for other stuff, which I don't have many other stuff outside of the book trailer. But there's Kuro-Sil
Yes.
Chronicler. I have my Twitter handle or X handle, if you will. I still am never good at remembering that it's called
Yeah,
X now.
me too. I still call it sometimes
Yeah.
Twitter.
Yeah,
We do too.
and my X account is at official Kuro-Sil. There's no special signs or anything. It's official Kuro-Sil, no dash between the Kuro and Sil. My Instagram account is I have an Instagram account that's just M small at MaesterMike923, and I have a website that I would love to do more. That's called a Kuro-Sil, the Kuro-Sil Chronicler. Don't really remember the exact name. The
Yeah,
Kuro. Hold on a second. Let me look it up.
Yeah, if you look
Sil.
up Kuro-Sil though in online, you'll find everything about him because that's a very unique
Yeah,
thing.
the unique
There's the
spelling.
Kuro-Sil.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the website is called the KuroSilChronicles.com. I haven't done much with it so far, but hopefully when I get more in internet stuff, I'll do more with that. And as for where my book is located, on Amazon
Yep.
and Barnes and Noble, Apple. Um, it's on Ingram Spark. It's on Kobo. A bunch of other
Mhm.
sites that have been published through the website Draft to Digital that I'm not really familiar with. Like I think some of those are foreign websites. So, but it's on a lot of sites. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch on Draft to Digital.
Draft to
I
Digital,
can't remember them
I
all.
highly recommend
It's
because
great.
within their platform, you can post to many different sites
Yeah,
and get
all at
all
once. Yeah.
your royalty statements from them all combined into one statement from
Mm.
Draft to Digital. It's simplified.
Streamlines it.
Mhm.
Yeah, makes life easy.
And it's worldwide. Yeah.
Easier. But all right. Well, good thing. And is there anything that you wanted to state before we wrap up the interview? Is there anything that we did not ask you about or cover that you wanted to mention?
uh, I can't really think of much. This is my first like real professional podcast I've been on. So, I mean,
Well, you
I
did
don't know if I
great.
could.
You
Thanks.
did good. Absolutely.
I don't know. I probably could have talked about other characters, but I don't know. Like, but that's not all. I think I'm good. They
Well, we'll
could
just have you back. We'll just have to have you
Yes,
back
that's right.
again.
look up my
So
yeah.
no
They could look
worries.
up my Instagram account for all of the main characters. With my
Yep.
Instagram account
Yeah.
was msmall at Maester Mike 923. The Maester is spelled Maester. So if you're a fan of like Game of Thrones or Song of Ice and Fire, you may know how to spell the word Maester. So
Yes. Yeah, that's that.
And Mr. D.L. Hearn Moon, he says, "Fear nothing and breathe." And
Yes.
Sandy Linder says, "Well done. You just sold a book because she just bought one."
Fantastic. Well done.
well,
All
huzzah!
right. See,
Huzzah!
that's proof that your sales will go up if you're on the Star Chamber show.
That's right.
Cool.
but but thank you, yes, thank you, Sandy, for picking up his book. It's I know you'll like this one. I know you'll like this one a lot.
Cool.
It's
Tell
a
her
really
that I
good
also
book.
picked up one of her books at the 2023 Imaginarium. So you can let her know. So if you're still watching, Sandy, I actually bought one of your books like personally from you. So there's
How
that. Thank
cool.
you.
Nice.
Small world, small world. All right. That's great. That's great. And yeah, check out, yeah, if you go on his YouTube, check out the trailer because he had a really well done trailer. A really well done trailer from this. And yeah, the guy did a fantastic job. And so yeah, check that out on his YouTube channel. But yeah, that's been great to visit with you, Michael, and great to have you on for your first full podcast appearance. And we're
Well
honored,
done.
and there's gonna be many more. You're gonna be on hundreds of them before your career is done. I'm sure you're gonna have
Yeah,
a lot
I'll also
because
be. Hopefully, I can get better.
yeah. Oh, you did fine. You did absolutely fine. It's
It'll be
not
also fun
easy.
to. Yeah, also it'll be fun to do on be on stuff that's not related to my book and just
Yeah.
like talk about other stuff like I don't know whatever like other movies
Yep.
or shows or games I'm into. So
Games.
Oh,
Yep.
fun.
Yep. Well, we'll have you back for sure. But I'm going to turn it over to Holly to wrap it up with you. But thank you for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
thank you for the invite. Have a
Thank
nice
you,
day.
Mike. And yes, we'll definitely have you back, and we'll talk about all the fun stuff you're doing, and maybe you ought to think about. Do you have a Twitch account? Do you have a Twitch account you use?
I don't, but I have done
Okay.
like some live streams on YouTube's live streaming, just some
Okay.
from various video games. Like
Okay. All right. Cool. So
yeah,
everybody can
I don't
check
do it
those out.
very often, although I probably should. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be neat too to do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe one day your book will be turned into a video game. You
It
never
should.
know.
Oh, it'd be good. Oh, it would be good, Holly.
yeah.
You never know.
He's got a good story for gaming. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
thank you for joining us, Mike. And yes, definitely join us again. And Yeah, all you listeners, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for buying Michael's book, and please check him out. Michael Small, Mike's Small. He goes by Maestro Mike, and you can,
Maester Mike, Maester.
Maestro.
He is
I'm
he
sorry
is a
about it.
he's going to be a maestro of the word world. Don't
That's
worry,
true.
but he's
That's true.
Maester Mike. Yes.
That's true. But look him up, buy the book, check it out, give him a review, and join us next Wednesday night, same place, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, for another great guest, another great talk. And for the rest of the week, be creative. Good night, everyone.